ABSL Summit. Transform to thrive.
Dear ABSL Summit participants, very nice to be here with you today, and together with Agata, I hope we will spend very nice 20 minutes taking you on an exciting ride. So who are we? As you heard, we both work at Capgemini. Again, Magda Matell. I'm heading our consulting and transformation business in business services.
And my name is Agata Wichman, and I'm working in Capgemini as well, in the role of the transformation lead for South Europe region. So what do we have in common apart from working in Capgemini?
As you can see here, I mean, we are obviously working women, balancing our private, family, and professional life.
And we have both more than 20 years of experience with working with the GBS organizations, various sectors, more than 20 clients, and proudly transformed more than 5,000 GBS professionals.
And as you can see on the attached pictures, we are both biking lovers, and that's why today we decided to take you on an exciting tour around Generative Business Services, born in transformation, driven by data, and fueled by business outcomes. Let's go.
So every journey starts with choosing the right equipment. Global Business Services, GBS, was a chosen model for over a decade to centralize back-office services. And it has elevated and grew significantly in that period in both dimensions, functional, but also in the way it is set up in terms of the models. There are three major models within the GBS organizations. First, captive and in-house operations, outsourcing, but also hybrid, which seems to be, which is actually a combination of the two of them, but also is a nice balance between having the right business relevance and proximity, together with the access to the external partners, innovations, and also ability to drive continuous innovations, which is a nice way of having the access to faster benefits.
Okay, so as Agata mentioned, everything started over 2 decades ago with functional services. So typically what we had at the time was either finance and accounting, procurement, IT, HR, back office services. Over 80% of the organizations still today have the potential to go into the next level, so-called global business services. Even though those who are already at this level still have the potential to be in the driver's seat of digital transformation. So Agata, what does it take to get there?
So the key parameters of the successful journey. What is the successful journey? There are 3 things I would like to mention here. First of all, C-level organizational alignment. It's absolutely critical to connect business with the IT agenda. Most successful GBS organizations are actually in the strategic forums within the enterprises, working very closely or even directly reporting to the CEOs. The next thing I would like to mention is end-to-end process visibility. Rather than focusing on productivity, we should really look end-to-end to anticipate any challenges down the road. And last but not least, GBS is actually uniquely positioned to drive technology advancements and use the full power of the data. So Magda, maybe you could give us a practical example.
Sure. Actually, I would like to mention a client that we both worked with for a few years, some time back. It's actually a very mature GBS organization set up over 10 years ago. During the pandemic, the business model of the organization started to experience a dramatic shift into a digital channel model. And as such, the GBS organization experienced a true stress test during the time, because they literally overnight had to change the model, adopt new technologies, change the ways of working. Luckily, and we were part of the journey, GBS stepped up and actually managed to not only transform themselves, but they orchestrated the change across the departments. Had they operated in the old model, we estimated the cost that they would need to bear for the operation would have been 50% higher. However, in this case, luckily the operation was successful. What this example tells us, and I would like to mention 3 things. The first one is the transformation speed. GBS was in a very unique position to pick up the transformation, orchestrate, and to drive the change in the organization very quickly. Second, as Agata mentioned, data. Sitting on a huge amount of data, it was not a guess. The organization knew exactly where to go and how to get there. And the third one was a clear focus on a business outcome, which in this case was a superior customer experience. Agata, what else do you think is on the horizon for the next few years?
It's a very good question. So 51% of the companies using SAP are actually planning to move to S/4HANA within the next 3 years. But only 3% of them actually completed the digital transformation so far. So there is a unique opportunity for GBS to become a transformation catalyst. And to do that, they could integrate between the business and IT world. And actually, there is a huge gap in this area, as very often the business needs are underestimated by the IT-driven implementations. But also, the GBS can drive adoption and become a platform to scale up for the organizations. And this will all allow GBSs to actually become a business partner and also elevate the customer experience.
Okay, so I believe after this introduction is quite clear, at least it is for us, that GBS is becoming a true orchestrator of digital transformation. And it's not a question of if, but how. And speaking about how, it's about connecting the dots between people, processes, technology, and data. When thinking about people, in order to drive a change or a digital transformation, obviously we need a different caliber of talent, and we need to create exciting career opportunities for the team. In terms of processes, as mentioned earlier, it's not about the siloed functions anymore. It's about creating a holistic experience, for example, customer experience or employee experience, buyer experience. In terms of technology, there is so much out there. There needs to be a clear strategy, what is done in-house versus what, for which activities there needs to be a partner model. And second, obviously there needs to be a budget to secure quick proof of concepts, and when they are successful, to then rapidly scale up. And last but not the least, data. Everything should be designed around data, because thanks to data, as mentioned earlier, we know exactly where to go and we can transform a lot quicker. So there are new opportunities for GBSs, as we explained, and there are actually 2 major roles where GBSs can evolve and play a critical role in the organization, I would even say unique. So, mentioned already business partnering, and through that, focusing really on what matters for the organization with the clear focus on outcomes that are on the CFO agenda, and driving the customer experience, but also the organization interest and support.
On the other hand, GBSs can play a business integrator role. And in that role, it's not only about connecting businesses with IT and technical landscapes that I mentioned, but also orchestrating and leveraging the power of the organization. The GBSs are sitting at the heart of the organizations, and they have a unique position to connect service delivery with IT, with transformation, administration, and so on. And they also have a great position to align the stakeholders' agenda, so the whole organization starts and runs the same race.
Okay, as such, the question is how to accelerate and how to navigate in the changes in the terrain. So first of all, to be able to navigate in the changes in the terrain, there needs to be a willingness to do something differently, to deploy new operating models, to innovate, to fail occasionally. At the same time, as mentioned, GBSs have a huge power of data. So they don't need to navigate blindly. They can leverage the power of data, and then it helps really to unlock the transformation speed at the next level. Having all the moving parts, and as mentioned before, with the S/4HANA transformation, Gen AI, digital transformation, it is quite clear that GBS is already becoming a business integrator. And the position of GBS is to manage the expectations of the boardroom, so to manage the vision versus the execution. At the same time, it's about really the reality check and managing the expectations, but also at the same time, providing talent and assets that can assist in this change. So Agata, what do you think is needed to unlock more value?
And that's a very, I would say, good question, an exam question, because that's the heart of our presentation. So the key to unlocking the value are actually the value unlocks. And we said a lot about the changing role of the GBSs today. So GBS is uniquely positioned to actually change the game, change the discussion that they are having with their own organization, and become a true partner for the C-level in the organizations. And to do that, they actually need to change a bit the mindset, and instead of focusing on productivity, efficiency KPIs, start talking the true value unlocks that matter for the organizations, and that goes beyond the cost effectiveness, but also reflecting the organization needs. And these are metrics like DSO, DPO, revenue, margin uplift, cost reduction within the SG&A. And to do that, they actually need to start thinking what are the values that matters for the organizations, what are the key things that needs to happen to actually deliver improvement in these areas. And they are fully equipped to do that with the right talent that Magda mentioned, with the right processes that should be actually designed backwards from the value unlocks perspective, the technologies, and sitting in the heart, integrating all the parties. This will give them the capability to actually deliver the true value for the organization. So what is happening when there is a reality check?
As you can see, Agata, it looks like a clash. So what is happening too often when a happy path hits the road? There is often a clash. Why? Because the most common mistake in driving transformation is not predicting the impact of the change, is assuming that only happy path scenarios would happen, not predicting the so-called dual reality, and so on and so forth. Again, what is the role of GBS to make sure that this is not so painful as on the attached picture, I am sure. GBS can really be an orchestrator and help operationalizing the change, can measure and teach the organization how to predict the impact of the change, and more importantly, can also teach the organization what is the value that can be achieved from a transformation. And this value at the heart is something that we are absolutely obsessed on, because that should be the driving force behind every activity that is happening to align the data, to align the talent, to align the programs. And in fact, many of our clients have already gone through such a journey. Agata, maybe you can share a few examples on what happened.
Yes, so actually there are many teams that are already racing for the business outcomes, and they are quite successful, as you can see, in many of the tours. So some of them achieved 35% of SG&A cost reductions. The others reduced their DSO by 3 days and improved efficiency. So as you can see, the price is quite nice, but there is much more to this in this exciting race.
Okay, so thinking about the size of the prize, when thinking about the traditional labor arbitrage and productivity gains, the outcome in terms of operating profit for a typical enterprise usually means less than 1%. Less than 1% of benefit, yeah? Is that all about it, really? On the other hand, when thinking about the business outcomes such as revenue growth, working capital improvements, speed to market, tail spend reduction, and I can go on like that, then the size of the prize can be even 10 times bigger. And at the same time, the position of GBS in the organization would be on a completely different level. And I think that's the end game for generative business services. We hope that you enjoyed this ride with us today, and we hope that we will see you on one of the tours in the near future. Thank you so much for your attention, and see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.